We are live. Welcome to another exciting episode of the IsaacBoyz podcast. Dwayne the Ghost, alongside Terrorizing. Coming at you guys with episode 99.
99.
Episode 99 coming at you guys. Slowly approaching, of course, episode 100, which we are one episode away. Which we have some announcements to make that we're going to be doing moving forward for all the episodes after 100. There's some exciting things in the works, as well as some other things. So, without any further ado, we'll just get straight in. Of course, here at the lounge,
The usual updates.
usual updates. Fairly decent week, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Did get some new foot traffic in here.
As usual.
Some wanted, some unwanted. Had a homeless guy come in here the other day. Well, today,
Yeah.
which was quite the experience.
Mm. Yeah.
Had to deal with that, which I dealt with as professionally and as
Yeah, I think
quickly as possible. So before it became a thing. So
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is he came in with the intent to play games, so that's what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Which is, hey, that's what we're here for, right? So,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Not all needs are met, but that's one need he wanted met. So
There you go.
that's one way to look at it. We have something that people want.
Yep.
I mean, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. And this is not, a knock on homeless or anything. I wasn't gonna. What I was avoid saying is that, some of our main customers, they seem to prioritize us over other basic needs. I find, which is very interesting to me.
Once you have your thing, your thing is your thing. Everyone has a thing.
Everyone has a thing.
And for people that gaming is their thing, we are their outlet. So
Mm-hmm. It's just a very fascinating thing when you think about it. I mean, like,
where you see people making
people making.
poor financial choices.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call it poor, financial choices, because of course it does benefit us. They just have different priorities,
Which is what it is. We're not here to tell anyone how to spend their money, so
No.
we do appreciate all our support, of course.
Oh.
And figures are starting to move
Yeah.
in rapid succession again,
Moving a lot of figures lately.
Yep.
Which is good.
which is good. Looking forward to. So we have some things also on order that's supposed to be coming in. Looking forward to that. Those things coming in and then moving, but we are actually on the verge of the carnival season
Mm-hmm.
this month.
It's
in
starting
St.
this
Thomas.
week, I think,
You sure?
or next week.
Probably next week.
I think
no,
it starts this week.
Yeah, you probably might be right. Gotta check the calendar and stuff, but yeah, carnival season is upon us, and here in St. Thomas, that's usually a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a lot of people, brings a lot of excitement to the island, people to the island, like I said. So it's gonna be good because we are in a prime position to capitalize on it. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we're for
Right.
everyone that's watching this and knows where the village is, we're right next to the village.
Literally right next to the village.
So that's gonna be huge for us. Obviously, we're gonna be staying open late, a couple of nights it seems, just to
Mhm.
capitalize on some of this
Mhm.
foot traffic.
Got a nice big sign outside, so once people are going to and from the village, you'll see the sign.
Look at curious, we'll come up, check it out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be huge for us because I can remember, being young,
Mm-hmm.
walking around the village. After the village, you get tired of the village.
Looking
want
for stuff to
something.
do. Yeah.
We're definitely the hangout spot. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, and we do have one event coming up for Carnival, which is, of course, we touched on it before, but it's officially official, which is our tournament that we're gonna be doing on
Mm-hmm.
May 1st.
Yep.
And that, of course, is our Brawlhalla tournament. If you follow us on social media, you'll see the post has already been made on our Facebook, on our most of our social medias.
Mm-hmm.
So flyers out, the date is set, and people are excited. It's gonna be our first tournament for the year. Hopefully, it's not our last. I would like to see us, get back to a regular schedule with these, but I think now is as good a time as any to get this one in. Seeing now that we're out of the whole COVID situation. Well, not quite out, but just about out.
Yeah, we're just about out. I mean,
things are getting back to normal and all that.
There's still people that are a little bit afraid of it, but for the most part, we're out of the we're on the better end of it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Things are trending in the right direction. So obviously, because we're having a carnival again, so
Yeah, and everything's fully open. Village is gonna be in full force. There's gonna be a Juve, everything, all the parades,
Yep.
all the good stuff. But I think parade days are gonna be good for us too, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of kids don't really care about the parade so much.
Yep.
And especially it's gonna be passing. It's gonna be passing right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Parade's gonna be passing right behind us.
So with the sign out there, kids are getting tired of the hot sun. Hey, we got AC and cold drinks.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we just got a good stock of drinks too. So I think we're probably gonna fly through that, honestly, when you think about it.
100%. Speaking of that stock of drinks, lugging them up here was
Bad idea.
yeah, it was quite the bad idea. I think I kind of pushed it, and as you guys know, with my current back situation, I think I threw my back out again. Just when I was getting better, I was feeling great. Today was no fun. Today was no fun at all. But you live and you learn. Hopefully, with some rest, get some recovery, I'll be back to my normal self. But man, today was rough. Today was a rough one. Right now, not so much, but it was bad. But anywho, all that aside, this week we may be showing the UFC fights, but there is an event.
Yes, we do have an event.
We do have an event in the room here, so we'll not be doing the usual watch party for UFC, but we can potentially still do something on the main room. Maybe, if we're up for it. But if you're looking to come to watch UFC fights, you may want to skip this week.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, so. But definitely looking forward to that as well. But outside of that, yeah, everything is still moving on the up and up. We are we do continue to encourage you guys, of course, to for the supporters. I do see the support, and this week actually we got a lot of feedback as well. Not just support, monetarily, but feedback from probably some of our viewers, which was great. Getting to hear some ideas, some thoughts, and it was good. And we continue to encourage that, because we're not just trying to just put stuff out there and just thinking our way is the only way. We'd like to hear from you guys to see what you guys think, how we can continue to grow this thing and make it the biggest, baddest thing in the Caribbean. So with all that, let's head straight into what's coming out this week.
It's actually a very light week. There's one game called Run, the world in between. Pixel graphics, one of those type of games. It's coming out on the Switch and on Steam. Looks pretty good. Looks like you're being chased by something. It looks like a roguelike to me, but maybe I'm just saying that because the past couple pixel graphic games we played have been roguelikes.
Mm-hmm.
It does give me that vibe. Looks pretty cool. And other than that, there's one other computer game that comes out called Biota, but also a pixelated game.
I think I saw that one.
So yeah, those are the only two
Releases this week.
Biota has a very retro look to it. Like it looks like not even a Super Nintendo. It looks like a Game Boy game, honestly. The way the graphics are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, light week this week. Next week, a little bit more of a little more familiar faces. But yeah, that's all we got.
All right. Well, there's a rumor actually Don't know how true it is, but guess we will see when the time comes. But apparently, there's a new Need for Speed game that's being dropped in November. Apparently,
Hmm.
it's a bit of a rumor, so it's a bit of the rumor mill, but because there's been no press, there's been nothing, no advertising, anything, but no one even knows it's coming. But apparently, it's supposed to be not only coming but actually dropping in November. So maybe we'll get some some teasers or some ads for those coming out soon, trailers. But
I wonder which iteration of Need for Speed is it going to be? Is it going to be, from your Underground series, which would be huge?
if it's underground, I think that'd be massive. That was one of my favorite.
I think, I mean, hopefully it's like, because I don't know why they. I mean, there's so many people up to this day wondering why they even went away from that. They came out with so many different types of Need for Speed after that, and nothing was able to capture that.
Underground.
The feel of Underground. So for them to go away from that, I think it would be smart to do that now, to go back to that, and it would make sense why it's been so under wraps, because they just want to like spring it on you and hey, it's Underground and hey, it's coming out right now. So I could see something like that maybe. Other than that, like, what else do you have to accomplish in Need for Speed? Really, it's like, another Hot Pursuit would be. I mean, Hot Pursuits are always fun. You're being chased by the cops. They've implemented that feature in many other Need for Speed games, so it doesn't even necessarily have to be Hot Pursuit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're dating ourselves with these Need for Speed titles. But yeah, I mean, we'll see where they take the franchise.
Hopefully it is true, and they do show something soon. When it comes to racing games, like you said, it's gonna be the best direction would be the Underground. I think to head that direction.
If you're tuners,
but it is gonna be hard to compete with Forza, and well, Gran Turismo didn't have the big pop like it did like Forza did, but
yeah, that's for sure.
But it's gonna be hard to compete with like those kind of titles. We'll see what they do. I mean, Need for Speed.
The only way you can do that is by capitalizing on nostalgia. Bring back the Need for Speed.
Or showing something that we haven't seen yet, or which in racing games is kind of hard to do. But
because every time you try to get too crazy with racing games, it loses that that flair that you like about racing games. Like
like if they come with a racing game that's like customization out the wazoo, like kind of like how Underground was, where you can do the lights on the bottom, you can do exhaust, you can fully kit out your cars. It'd be great.
Because I mean, even though Forza you can, but I think Forza still still areas of customization where Forza didn't have, like different headlights, lights under the cars.
Decal on your windshields and that kind of thing.
I think you can, right? Can you? You can? Oh.
Not in Forza, no.
I thought you can for some reason. But yeah, stuff like that. So there's still more levels of customization that Forza didn't have. But yeah, that would be that if you ask me, that's where I would take the franchise. Back to the streets.
Back to the streets.
Mm-hmm. And I think Underground came out at like around the perfect time. It was around, Tokyo Drift when Fast and Furious came out. So it was like just excellent timing, and the game really took off.
Yep. I can still remember some of the cars I made for that game.
For Underground too?
Uh-huh. Can still remember to this day. Anywho, moving right along. There was a Unreal Engine event showcase, if you will, where if you guys remember earlier this year when they dropped the Matrix. When the Matrix came out, they did kind of Unreal did a little collab with them, showcasing what Unreal Engine 5 can do when it actually came out. Which now Unreal Engine 5 is live. It's currently out. And with this event, they kind of went into a little bit more detail as far as, what you can expect from Unreal Engine 5. Not just from a, consumer standpoint, like, us, the consumer, that are going to play the games it's going to be on this engine. But also as a dev, and what you can expect from, actually using Unreal Engine 5 and building out your games using this engine. And the presentation, although it was it was a bit long, but it wasn't too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like about a half hour or so. It was just under an hour. But it went over quite a bit of information that it got me pretty excited. From both aspects, from a consumer and a wannabe dev. Some of the highlights, of course, once you think of Unreal and game engines, and this is going to be like your next gen game engine, you're thinking, of course, better graphics. But I mean, there's some photorealistic stuff these guys are doing with Unreal Engine 5, and the direction they're going with this one is that they want to make that AAA experience more accessible to different studios. That's kind of like their main focus with this, and they're just giving you all the tools to just make a game, which got me excited. Like it makes me want to get back into the the game making space. But it was a pretty cool showcase actually. One of the things they're talking about, which is with their engine, there's different tools, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better term, that makes these engines pop. Like one of the things was Lumen, which was their new kind of like light system, which I guess it's kind of like ray tracing, but it's like to the next level. And they're just showcasing how with lights you can like dramatically light your scenes, even if with just one light source or whatever. It does, like it was very impressive what they showed with as far as like the sun positioning and sun coming through like windows and how that would look and bouncing off of things, because like one like to illuminate a room, like light bounces like naturally. So it's not just gonna be like light coming from the source, but light's gonna come from the source and bounce off the floor, and it can illuminate the environment. And they really did a good job as far as showcasing that and showing light sources that are bouncing off as like shiny surfaces and how that reflects on different objects, and it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing there. And another one of their, of course, creation tools, which I think most everyone's familiar with at this point, which is the Meta Human Creator. Which everyone we've all, if you're following gaming, you've seen this dropped a couple months ago.
Yeah.
If not last year, if I'm not mistaken. Where you can anyone can download it, and you can pretty much build a photorealistic human being with clothes, hair, everything, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Within minutes. And that's kind of the mainstay for Unreal Engine 5, is that they want to make it as easy and accessible for people to make these photorealistic, environments, objects, whatever have you. And it's pretty cool, like that they're showing what you can do with metahumans, and how you can utilize these tools to make characters. You can even make yourself and make you pretty photorealistic. Like the MetaHuman Creator is pretty bonkers. When you're seeing the characters and how they how their eyes move and how they blink, and
yep, I've seen some
micro
examples of that.
And
yep.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
But yeah, I mean, putting that in the hands of smaller developers, as ourselves, that would be amazing. You know what I mean?
Makes it really easy.
So it gives small developers like potentially ourselves, like bringing us up as pulling us in that light, because we do at some point plan to make games in some way, shape, or form. A tool like this could be very strong. It could put us in a position where we don't have to worry too much about that stuff, and maybe put us in a position where we can create something that we never thought we could create.
Yeah. Create something on a big scale and make it like a AAA experience, which is what they're all about. And another tool that they had that I thought was pretty cool. Actually, before I get to that, the tool they had that's super dope, because they have a full community that drops, like it gives you a full library of photorealistic objects. So when you are making things for Unreal Engine 5, you can just go to the community page and you can just upload just objects, just random stuff from like phones to cups to bottles to fire hydrants, and these are all photorealistic already, like ready to go out the box.
So you don't need to.
You don't have to waste your time making all stuff like rocks and bushes and again photorealistic to the nth degree, like AAA ready to go, like out the box, which is huge. So it just leaves you with just to just use your creative, your mind and just
imagination
to get just to get certain things out there, which is, I think, is great. But they even said that even if you can't, there's an object that you want and you can't find it in the thing, there's another tool they dropped where you can use your cell phone as a scanner, and the app is gonna walk you through how you scan a certain object, and you can literally scan in an object, and you're from your perspective, you're like scanning an object, and the app will do everything, process it, everything, and give you a 3D object of what that you just scanned in. Not just
fully skinned everything.
Fully skinned, not just the object itself, but fully skinned, photorealistic, ready to go, 3D object. I was completely blown away. Because it actually walks you through it as far as what the system needs for you to actually do it. And you gotta do, let's go back and forth, or needs more images on this side, and just you can literally scan in anything in this room. We could take our time, scan every object in this room, and build our office in a photorealistic sense, and have video podcasts where it's not even us. We're just us talking, but it's our meta humans that are actually doing it, and it would be undistinguishable from reality.
Interesting.
That's the direction that things are going. Maybe we should try something like that for one of these episodes. Just to kind of build out the set in the 3D space, scan everything, and
take a lot of work, but
well, yeah. Based on the tools and what they have, may not take as much work as you think.
I mean, it definitely makes my creative juices start to flow a little bit more. Maybe we should, if we had it right now in our hands, what would be the type of game we would make? Because a lot of the games we come up with are kind of animated, because that's our best way to get something that looks respectable out there.
That's our air of expertise.
Yeah, but if we had photorealism, what would be our AAA experience to the world?
Would you do something in the horror genre, maybe?
The horror genre would be a nice challenge to tackle, because you would have to kind of slip into a dark space, to figure out what scares people. You know what I mean? What would be your your fear? So that's one. Obviously,
a shooter of some kind.
Some kind of shooter or some kind of zombie. Zombie shooters are relatively easier to make, because in terms of the AI, it's a stupid zombie, so it's they don't do a whole lot of thinking. They don't know. So it's not, something like that would be very simple and easy to make, I'm sure. But what would make ours different from many others? I don't know. All the many zombie games that's out there.
None of them has been, featured the Virgin Islands. Could you imagine?
Make a VI game that's actually,
you're in the VI and you could
recreate St. Thomas. That'd be a challenge.
Or Grand Theft Auto VI.
Grand Theft Auto VI.
Which actually, what was it? Rockstar did a post at one point asking what location they should use for Grand Theft Auto 6, and I was all over that post, Virgin Islands, it makes sense. VI, it's a 6, and it'd be perfect, but they didn't look at it. I
remember at one point we were thinking a battle royale in the Virgin Islands kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah, we could have imagined a photorealistic battle royale in St. Thomas.
Be dope.
Be an interesting challenge, but yeah, that'd be dope. I don't know what kind of battle royale it would be. I mean, I don't know what would be the theme or the level of weapons or whatever we'd use, but
Could be a thing.
could be a thing.
And it's very realistic now with Unreal Engine 5. Like, it's super dope.
Maybe we'll invest in a pretty decent computer and start, scratching that itch some more.
Yeah. And speaking of like shooters, like they had a tool which is a fully fleshed out game already called Lyra,
Mm-hmm.
where it's pretty much it has all the mechanics of a shooting game and everything already built in, with using Unreal Engine 5, and it's just ready to go, and it's just there for you to use to put on whatever spin you want, where you can completely change, make your own environments. You can, the whole system is in place. It very much reminds me of like a Mugen, if you will, but for a AAA shooting game,
There you go.
where all the work is pretty much, all the hard work anyway is pretty much done. You just have to, develop the levels and characters, which you can use MetaHuman for, and come up with some really cool, you can legit, maybe within a few months' time, come up with a legit shooting game using Unreal Engine 5, giving you a AAA experience. With the right people and the right team,
Yeah,
I think we can definitely pull it off.
It definitely take a team effort. But
It's like our dreams of game creation has never been closer, I feel. I mean, we've always had, your RPG makers, your Mugen, those tools, ready to use. And we have done projects with those, but I feel now we can make a pretty solid AAA experience.
something that we can put out there and
be proud of. That's not going to take too much work. And again, with the Unreal community right now, how it's set up, it's super accessible for anybody to do. And the library of,
assets
that you have at your disposal, and also with the community as well. One of the things they've laid out is that, like, there's a part on there's actually a community page where it's kind of like a social media. So, for example, if somebody made something or they did a specific code that does something very specific, they can post it, and in their post is going to have the actual code for you to copy and paste to use for your thing. So you can just literally look up, I want this to do this. You can look it up. Someone probably already did it. You can just copy and paste it.
and figure out how to augment it and whatnot to your
Yep.
liking.
It's like super, super accessible, dude, and very streamlined. Like, just watching it, I was like blown away.
Just
And
talking about it, I'm like, juices are starting to flow.
Yep. We can do some cool things, and we've been known to do cool things with little.
We've known to do a lot with a little bit. So imagine if you have a lot,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm kind of thinking now, like, make an experience like no other.
Mm-hmm. And especially if we get, we can make a solid game, but not just make a good game, but like a game that would put like the VI in the map kind of a thing. I'm sure we can get some backing from.
There is a game I wanted to make back in the day. Now would probably be a good time. I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be photorealistic though, but that could make it. It could make an interesting aspect to it.
Yeah, we got options now. But, yeah, like I was super impressed with that, and they were showing other things, like the Gears, Gears franchise, and what's kind of not really just kind of hinting us, what was next for that. Of course, Gears is going to be using Unreal Engine 5, so that's going to be great to see. Gears has always been a very beautiful game, but
I can only imagine what it's going to be now.
with URE or UE, whatever you call it. Yeah, I think Gears is going to be next level, and also a new Witcher is coming out using Unreal Engine 5 as well.
And project what's her name?
CD Red.
CD Red. They owe the gaming community a really good game. I mean, not saying Cyberpunk wasn't it, but
It wasn't it. I mean, it could have been.
they kind
It
of
was a dropped ball.
yes. So they owe us a good game, and I think Witcher is gonna be that, which has always been known to be their main their bread and butter when it comes to their good game that they put out. You know, words are escaping me today, but yeah. So we'll see what it looks like.
Yeah, could be cool. But definitely looking forward to everything, Unreal Engine 5, because a lot of think of the big studios now that we now have access to the same things that they have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger studios can now put out games quicker now because they have, full teams already.
Yep.
Just using the same stuff, and now we're gonna have access to a lot of their tools and their things and it's very streamlined. I can't wait. Can't wait to start experimenting with that. Could be dope. Come up with some really dope stuff. All right. Also, this week we got a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm. 4.
4. Is it 4 or 3?
4, right?
I don't know. I want to say 3.
Pretty sure it's 4.
But you could be right. I don't really follow Kingdom Hearts that closely, so
couldn't tell.
But yeah, the trailer looks quite interesting. I would say. I mean, speaking of photorealism, there's a lot of photorealism in that trailer, which was a little bit unusual for me. When I think Kingdom Hearts, you expect the kind of a. I mean, the main character is a little bit, it's humanoid and it looks.
It is 4, by the way.
Good job. But it was a bit too photorealistic for me.
Yeah,
it looked a little weird.
I mean, they're definitely Kingdom Hearts has always kind of been in that space, like Final Fantasy type space.
Mm-hmm.
And with Final Fantasy, has gone more
realistic.
More realistic. So Kingdom Hearts is kind of following, and it's gonna be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of the fan base for Kingdom Hearts is huge. So.
It is huge.
I mean, even today I've heard a couple people talking about it. So people are excited for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yep.
We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah. What they showed was just a quick little teaser.
Yeah, it was a little teaser.
It didn't really quite show much.
Of course, no gameplay or anything, but
yeah, but it was enough to get the fans excited.
Yeah, and I guess it lets you see the art direction. I guess there.
Mm-hmm. To me, it was just a little weird seeing Sora that realistic. For me.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Sora fan, so maybe Sora fans loved it, but it was a little awkward for me.
Just a little weird. But yeah.
And I was thinking maybe we should start doing reaction videos to like trailers and that kind of thing, and just put it on our Patreon or something. Just some content for Patreon or maybe our YouTube as well. Who knows? Just some ideas as I see trailers.
We didn't quite go over the new changes that we're gonna be making.
Yeah, well, I guess now's a good time.
I just realized we usually do that in the beginning, but there is a few things we're going to be implementing podcast-wise, just to help grow not just the podcast but the gaming community on a whole. And I think I kind of like the direction we're going. Couple things. Well, for one, the podcast will not only now be on YouTube, but we're also going to be moving the podcast to Twitch as well,
which should have been done a long time ago.
I don't know why we didn't do it before.
Kind of a no-brainer, but we're here now. But yeah. So moving after episode 100, or maybe even with episode 100, depending on how things go, we are going to be putting the podcast on Twitch as well. So for those of you that have Twitch and want to watch it there, you can. And we can also grow it. Help grow Twitch numbers there as well. But that's gonna be a cool little addition. Something extra for those who want to see the podcast there, and also Next, what's
Also, we are going to be adding. We've always talked about this, and I think every time we talk about what's new on the podcast,
New season, yeah.
we always kind of mention this, but so it's gonna sound like
a repeat?
But it's
a
not.
more fleshed out idea.
It's a more fleshed out idea. We're gonna have guests. Oh, go figure, right? But this time we're gonna focus on our guests being more
our peers,
gaming people that are actually in the gaming community.
Yeah,
actual gamers, VI gamers. That also goes into streamers, everything.
Yeah,
full nine. If you play video games, you can now be. We're looking to bring you on the podcast, and we're gonna talk video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be good for the podcast. Just having someone other than us on the podcast is always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Getting different perspective, on different things, and it's just all around fun. More interaction going. I think it's gonna be great, and it's another way to grow the gaming community because people will, be excited to be on a podcast, and before maybe they felt maybe a little shy. They don't really think they have what it takes to be on a platform like this. But we're kind of opening up to every and anybody.
Any and everybody.
It's really no big deal. Just can sit down, let's talk.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a different format. We're trying to do it more often than not, as opposed to the other way around, where we have the podcast where it's us talking for an hour or two on end. Just having that just to kind of it just adds to the interaction. Adds to the
and one of the main reasons why we're moving in this direction, is of course to celebrate the podcast 100 episode, but also to kind of grow the gaming community. So moving forward, that gamers coming on here, getting to express themselves, getting a chance to maybe grow their Twitch numbers, by us, plugging them or whatever the case is. It kind of helps grow the gaming community here in St. Thomas, which is exactly what we're trying to do. And with that growth, we'll improve everything else. I feel.
Everything else, 100%.
So
it makes the podcast more of a tool, to grow the gaming community, which is what it was designed to do in the beginning, in the first place. That's what VN was designed to do in the first place. We want to see. With the lounge definitely helped with that, because you're now having people that would have never interacted before now interacting and meeting new people and playing games together, and that's been a pretty cool experience. I think we can also accomplish that with the podcast.
Yep.
In a way that you can't really with the lounge, I would say. So definitely looking forward to that. We always promise you guys this, and we have yet to fully deliver on it. Because I think we're 2 episodes away from it, we have enough time to line them up. That's our goal. We're gonna try to line them up for you guys. That way, it could just be a weekly flow, and we just do it, and it's just flowing, and everything's great, and you guys get new content and new perspectives, and see what's happening in the gaming world in the Virgin Islands.
Yep.
Not just from our perspective, but from other perspectives.
Yep.
So,
and we've tried to have like bigger guests on, and I guess for lack of a better term, people don't take us as seriously as we would like. People cancel and all that good stuff, which you don't take it personal. It is, it is what it is. But this way, we instead of trying to attract the bigger fish, we're just gonna roll with our own people, roll with our crew, our pairs. So, and it's gonna be dope because, like we said, it's gonna be a way for them to grow their whatever they got going on, whether it's streaming, whether they have an art thing going, or a YouTube channel,
Twitch, or whatever,
some kind of music or whatever they got going
music, on. Yeah, there's a lot of people on music guests that we can. And who knows? You might get some repeats, but it's always gonna be different topics of discussion,
different things
going on. So,
personally, I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna change the whole dynamic here, and it's gonna be cool.
I think it's gonna be great. Definitely looking forward to it. Definitely have when we were discussing it, I have tons of people I can't wait to get on here. You know.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep, we'll be knocking those out. And yeah, what 4 month, yeah. It's gonna be cool.
I think it's gonna be a nice little format. And of course, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube or soon to be Twitch on that time, we're obviously gonna have to change up.
Yeah, we're gonna rearrange how our setup is here.
Not really much. Maybe you might see a
Just a
little
digital side, yeah.
floating head here somewhere. Maybe. In this area.
Yep, we'll figure something out. See what looks good.
Maybe we could have maybe like in that square right here we could just have like there. It'd be kind of weird, but
No, we could do it.
or we could just have it down here.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, definitely something to look forward to, especially for our viewers that are, abroad. Get a chance to see more of the
Yeah, the gaming community,
here.
people that come to the lounge, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
We have access to a lot of our pairs, so
Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, hey, you wanna be on a podcast, and they see the podcast because we play the podcast here in the lounge. So
we always get questions about it. So, and actually this week there were some girls that came in that said they wanted to start their own podcast, and they kind of asked me for like tips and stuff like that. And I was like, well,
you can always just come on our podcast.
there we go. We can whenever they do decide to start, we can get them a little push, get them a little,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of giving them some encouragement, but some tips because it's not just sit down and record. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to consider that
Yep.
you don't really consider once you're
Mhm.
once you're having all the creative ideas. But there's other things to manage, like like sound and recording and soundproofing and
Mm-hmm.
visuals and topics and all that stuff. So
All the prep work.
oh yeah, tons of prep work. But yeah, that's something we're looking forward to. So look out for that. And moving right along, there is also another rumor, because I was going down the rumor mill, of course, and seeing that there's gonna be a Max Payne remake. They're gonna be remaking Max Payne 1 and 2, which for me, Max Payne 2 was one of my favorite games for original Xbox. Max Payne 2 was it for me.
I remember Max Payne 2.
One of the best games, one of the most revolutionary games for its time.
It just had such a grungy feel to it that was just unique at the time.
Yep.
It was like so. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, there's a lot of games that maybe have done it better now, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just being biased, but Max Payne had a
certain tone
like definitely not for kids tone. You're playing that game, and I was like, I can only imagine what it would be now with photorealistic graphics and stuff like that. They better do that thing justice, because that if they can capture the tone, that's the most important thing of the game.
Yep.
Because the mechanics, the shooting mechanics, all that stuff is it's whatever. You know what I mean? It's in every other game, but they need to nail down the tone of that game. I mean, just the whole thought that to bring up your life, you're using like painkillers and stuff like that. It was just like you just had this kind of
darkness to it.
Yes, and the movie did a terrible job of it. I mean, they tried, but it was too weird with the stupid movie.
It's too Hollywood.
Yeah. But the game was just always just
spectacular. Love that game. Down to the story, down to every aspect of it. And it was one of the first games that did slow motion,
Mm-hmm.
Bullet time, where you could just jump into the air and just clear a room before you hit the ground. It was good times. No other game really captured it like Max Payne did, for me anyway.
100%.
So if this rumor is true and they are doing a remake for 1 and 2, I'm curious as to what the price point's gonna be, and I'm curious as to if it's how it's gonna look, and if they updating the graphics. Now are they just gonna remake the game from the ground up, kind of like how Diablo is doing, or are they just gonna reskin the game?
Like just bring it up, but just make it look make graphically look better. That'd be a bad idea.
Because I don't think that those controls would age well.
Mm. Not only that, but there's a lot of things in the game. Like the game really didn't have any facial animation. Obviously, they can fix all that. But I mean, I want it to look like I want it to be as as straight a comparison as if you look at Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 2 remake. That's the kind of change I want to see. Where they take a lot of the same level, same story, same level, everything, but it's a completely different game.
Completely rebuilt.
Completely rebuilt. That's what we need for Max Payne. And then they would have my money.
They would definitely have my money for sure. Especially when you're getting both stories too, because Max Payne 3 was okay. It wasn't my favorite Max Payne. 1 and 2 had the tone of Max Payne. And Max Payne 3, he was already he had a different look. It wasn't it for me.
I think they know that as well.
That's why they're only doing 1 and 2.
Yep.
Can't wait. And there's another game that popped up on the radar that at first glance doesn't really look like a game, and it's a very weird. Like when I started the trailer looked like a movie, but it's actually a game, and it's the Quarry. I don't know if you remember.
I don't think I've seen this.
Yeah, I think you have. You've seen it. It look you see like it looks like a 3D movie pretty much. I'm not sure, but it looks kind of like a horror-esque. Has in what's his name? David Arquette, I think, was one of the people in it, and a couple other. Cause it had like real actors in it, but they're all 3D. I'm pretty sure you saw the trailer.
It sounds familiar.
I'm pretty sure you saw the trailer. Because I think I remember seeing you looking at it like, is this a game or not? But game I'm talking about, of course, is Quarry, and it is a game. Did a little research on it. It is a game. It's in the horror realm, but it's pretty uniquely done. And it's not the first game of its kind, because this studio did make a game before. I forgot the name of their first game that became popular. Until Dawn, I think it is. Or something like that. But this game, Quarry, follows that same vein where it's kind of like it's like an interactive movie, if you will. Cool thing about the Quarry, though, is that it has over 100 different endings.
Jesus.
So based on decisions you make, everything leads you down a different path. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like kind of those Telltale games in a sense, but the graphics are hyper realistic, and like the actors that they got actual actors to play the characters, like Hollywood actors, so to do the voice acting, and I guess the facial recognition, because the facial animation in this game is like, I think the best part of the game. The graphics are really well done. Now the game is done in a way where when you can go to the accessibility menu, and you can really customize the game as far as how you want to play it. So if you just want to sit down and watch a random thing play out, you can do that. So you can just sit down and watch the movie, but you can go in and set how you want each character to act, like whether they're aggressive or not so aggressive, or different character traits for each of the characters. You can go in and edit how you want to act, and you can just watch it play out.
Interesting.
And you can change it up, and you can watch it play out again. Like, it's cool like that. Or you can watch it to where there's very limited interactions from you, whether it's just certain times or the major times that you want to make those decisions, kind of a thing. Or you can just play it out the way it's meant to be played too. And now there's, from what I'm hearing from the creators of the game, like you can play through the game and everyone can live. It's like watching a horror movie. Everyone lives. You can do that, but where's the fun in that? And apparently there's a lot of different horror elements in this game, so it's not just one thing. That's, I guess, the antagonist or whatever the case is. But there's like different elements that can potentially kill you in the game. So based on how you play, characters can die. but they don't have to, kind of a thing. So you can get attached to certain characters. You can see certain characters interact with each other and be more develop bonds and things like that, and you can watch those bonds get tear to pieces when some of those characters die and see how they interact. And it's a pretty cool concept as far as like Telltale games are concerned, and the presentation is really well done. Like the lighting in the game is it's shot like a horror movie, so it pays homage to a lot of like classic horror movies, and even the setup is like it pays homage to a lot of different horror movies, like genres from your classic Jason slasher, because it's around it's based around a camp kind of a thing. So it's direct correlation there, but there's also some supernatural elements, some other things. So I mean, it looks worth checking out. I do want to check it out and see how things go. Maybe we can probably do another watch party for Halloween, maybe, or maybe we can do like a month-long stream of it for October or something. But I want to check it out because
try to get different endings and
see how the endings play out, because this is a very cool concept that you can, the fact it has that many endings, it's like it gives you enough reasons to
keep playing
it. So, but it's pretty dope, and the graphics are great. It looks like a movie, so I definitely want to check that out for sure. So, Quarry, we'll check it out. We'll see if it's worth it, and we'll bring it back to you guys. But moving right along, we're gonna just go ahead and roll straight into Fight Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And this weekend did not disappoint. The UFC took a little break past week, but this weekend past they did not disappoint with this card.
Nope.
There was a lot of developments, if you will, with this card. A lot of
answered questions, I guess.
A lot of answered questions.
That's one way to put it.
But let me bring the card up here, and then we'll stroll right into it.
I mean, for those of you that are aware, the card we're referring to is the UFC
273. Yep. UFC 273. And starting off on the prelims, going through very quickly.
Most notably, the Alexei Oleinik versus Jared Bandera.
Yeah. I mean, Oleinik still doing the damn thing, huh? How old is Oleinik?
That's a great question.
How old is this guy?
But he is, definitely up there in age.
Alexei Oleinik is 44 years old. And for a 44-year-old man, he's still competitive. He's taking on these young guys and winning. And he just has this squeeze that there's two submissions he go to. So when he's on top, he has one, and when he's on bottom, he has one. Mm-hmm. And he's just a problem to deal with, because once he gets his hands around your neck, whether it's under the chin or not, it doesn't matter. He just has this squeeze that people just can't take. He has that old man strength. And
that was no different. I mean, got another first round submission, so it's like that's the thing. And it doesn't take him long to get what he needs to get done.
Once he gets it to the ground, he knows what he needs to do, and he does it. Super, super dope. Then moving up the card, you had Mickey Gall versus Mike Malat, who was making his debut actually.
Mm-hmm. I remember him from the Contender Series. He's had a kind of weird vibe to him in terms of like, he seems like somebody that hasn't made. Like he's like very attractive guy, very well in shape. Seemed like he had a lot of stuff going on outside the UFC. Just seems like a made guy.
Just wants to fight.
Just wants to fight. You know what I mean?
You better figure it out real soon. But he's pretty good. He did beat Mickey Gall and knocked him out in the first round, and
it was kind of a weird knockout too.
He went face forward down like.
Mickey Gall got a hit, and then he just kind of like slowly fell face planted.
It was kind of a shocker.
He got woke up with some shots and then
Yeah. Almost like fought the referee even after when he woke up. So he was out. So I mean, tough loss for Mickey Gall. But he'll definitely be back. He's 7-5 now, so that's kind of rough.
Yeah, he's yeah.
But yeah, Malat. You know, he has the skills. But one thing about not having to fight and fighting, you're gonna fight some guys that have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to feed their family and stuff like that. And if you're doing it for fun and they're doing it for a living, things get put in perspective really quickly. So,
yeah.
But good for him.
Yeah,
making the walk.
Well, I mean, I think like on the fight on the pay-per-view, he looked more like a fighter, but like in the contender series, he didn't look like a fighter to me. I look at this guy, I'm like, this guy is your typical CrossFit trainer type guy. You know, he just looks like that guy. Doesn't look like a fighter to me. But
knocked out Mickey Gall.
He did there, and he did last night. I mean, on Saturday. Show that he definitely is a fighter. Don't let looks fool you.
Yep. And then Aspen Ladd versus Raquel Pennington. Pennington looked great. Honestly speaking, I mean, nothing much to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
Pennington hands looked a lot better than I've seen them. I mean, she's always had hands, but her hand was just finding the money on Aspen Ladd. I mean, if she put a little bit more pop into some of those punches,
probably got out of there.
Yeah, because those punches were like turning her head, like making her look every which direction. It was pretty good hands on Raquel Pennington, and she had a pretty good call out.
Yeah, and a break in her hand.
Yeah, she broke her hand in the process. But she definitely wants to go on her title run. So we'll see what's next for her. But she definitely looked good, and the best I've ever seen her. So, and Aspen Ladd, that's another loss for Aspen Ladd, unfortunately, which. She's been a big prospect for the UFC coming up, but she's starting to fall off a little bit, lose a little bit of that sting. But she's 9-3. She'll figure it out. She's still young.
It's part of the process.
Part of the process. And then Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Josh Freed. However how you pronounce that. Fluffy won by decision. Unanimous decision. Both guys looked good, but Fluffy won the first round. He got tested in the second round, and you thought it's gonna be pretty much over. And he came back in the third, so showing some heart, showing some grit.
And he's coming up with a layoff as well, a long layoff.
Yeah, because I think the last time he fought was deep into COVID. I remember last time seeing him early into COVID, I should say. I remember being in Bolonga and watching him fight. Put it that way. So. Yep. And then the big hype train, Ian Gary versus Darian Weeks. Which Ian Gary, I mean, he's winning his fights, right?
He's winning. He's trying to replicate some of that Conor magic, talking big.
Yeah, because he's from Ireland, he has a crowd behind him. You saw the success with Conor. He's trying to recreate that, but it's not even close, huh? He's not quite there.
And I think after this fight, he kind of noticed it too. He's like, man, I'm not. I guess because he was saying stuff like, I still have a lot to learn and stuff like that. Like before, he wasn't saying stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Before he was all like, he's a shit, but like, he's saying like, obviously in this fight,
Because he was tested a bit, but he did enough to win, and that's good for him. But even his mic skills. It seemed a little forced to me, and this is no. I'm not trying to disrespect him in any way, shape, or form, but it's just it didn't feel authentic. But if you keep winning and you keep talking as cringy as it is, you'll definitely work your way up the ranks and become a UFC star. So good for you, mate. And then Vinnick Purcell versus Mark Madsen, which I think I made a mistake and said he was Canadian last week on the podcast. He's not. He's definitely not Canadian.
Who Madsen?
Yeah.
Madsen. He is.
He's from Denmark. He's Danish, but wrestling credentials still matched up. He is
He's
wrestling age.
Yeah, but he's a gold medalist in Olympics wrestling. I remember when he made his UFC debut, and he's been doing his thing. Wrestling is still a big part of his thing, but I guess he wanted to really test the hands this time around, a bit, and then he definitely went back to wrestling.
Yeah.
And Purcell did not like it, but
He didn't like it at all. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
He's he's 37, so he's not a young guy in the sport, and he even made mention of that.
Yeah, he came.
He wants to he really wants to get up there and get a title, get into title contention real soon. So we'll see how he does. I mean, yeah, he has a wrestling, good on him for that, but and he's 12-0, so
I still don't think he's.
he's not. But eventually, the way he's fighting, he's gonna get some tests, and we'll see how he comes out on the other end.
Yep.
And then Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres. Mackenzie Dern just doing her thing, right? Just showing that
literally
she's
surprised the shit out of me because I thought Tisha Torres for sure. Like I'm looking at her stand up, her wrestling. I'm like Tisha Torres
got this all day.
got this all day. The only way Mackenzie Dern's gonna win this is by submission.
And Mackenzie,
Not the case.
Nope. Mackenzie Dern was showing her
improved hands.
yeah, and she was putting on that pressure very early, and she never let off of it.
I still don't think her hands are better than Tisha Torres, but she just had that pressure.
Mhm.
She had that, and I think it caught Tisha by surprise. Like they were expecting her to go for takedowns and stuff like that, but she wanted to stand and bang with her, and she was like, oh.
And she did take it down when she wanted to as well.
Mhm.
There's one point where she didn't. The first grappling stand, she's like, well, I'm not gonna take it down, but I'm gonna climb up on you. And she literally climbed up on her from standing and treated it like it was on the ground. Threw her in a Kimura and everything from while she was standing.
The pressure on Tisha Torres' shoulder must have been
Immense. And it was so much so that she got her down from climbing up on her and pulling her to the ground pretty much, which is very impressive in my part. Like she's not even waiting to get to the ground anymore. She's attacking submissions from standing while climbing up on you like a monkey. It was great. I learned a lot about Mackenzie during that fight. She looks good.
Mm-hmm.
She's 12-2 now. And Torres moves to 13-6, but Torres, she's one of those fighters that's been around a long time, and the game is starting to evolve past her, unfortunately. So unless she makes some major changes, or start knocking bitches out.
I mean, her last fight, I thought she looked pretty good. I thought she was making the right changes, like moving in the right direction. But yeah,
wasn't the case though.
Was not the case.
And then the people's main event.
The people's main event. Gilbert Burns versus Hamza Chimaev.
It was quite the outstanding fight.
What a fight!
Best fight of the year so far, maybe?
It quite possibly might be. Because what I liked about this fight more than anything else, it was a fight that was super hyped.
And it delivered.
And it delivered. Lately, a lot of UFC fights that have been super hyped up has not delivered. Or they're super hyped up and then they're being one-sided beatdowns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is still, to me, not really delivering. When you have a super hyped fight and it's a back-and-forth brawl.
Competitive, yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be a brawl. A lot of this back and forth competitively.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have what, it would be considered a great fight. And this was that.
This was definitely that.
Because, Chimaev has always been, up until this point, Chimaev is the guy. Chimaev's never been hit. I mean, he's been hit twice in the UFC, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 4 fights, how would he respond being tested? And Gilbert tested him.
Gilbert definitely tested him.
What I liked a lot about this fight is that Chimaev didn't win in ridiculous fashion, like he usually does. So it doesn't diminish Burns like
Mm-hmm. Burns got smoked or anything like that.
Yeah.
Burns actually looked I was actually impressed with Burns.
Burns looked really good.
He was cracking him.
They both were cracking. They both were slinging him. It ended up being somewhat of a brawl, at different points, but
both guys got knockdowns. At one point, Chimaev knocked him out knocked him down with a jab to show you the power that he had in those hands, and Burns caught him a hook or two, or got him down as well. It was just back and forth.
Chimaev was pretty bloody too.
Yeah, both guys were.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, both guys were. Yeah, because Chimaev got when he got Burns down, he landed some
elbows,
some deadly elbows that cut him up immediately. But it just shows, man, Chimaev is really that like. Like he lived up to the hype now. Like I mean, if he went out there and he starts Burns, you could say he lived up to the hype, yeah, but it still would be like he's still untested.
Well, no, I think it would still. I think it was still if he went out and smoked Burns, then it'd be like he would still.
He would still have the aura, but then there would still be those people like
what happens when he gets into deep waters, kind
exactly. There'd still be people who would be talking shit, not really fans wise, but mostly other fighters would be like, oh, he's never been tested, or they were trying to down talk some of his opponents. But now you see that he is everything he says he is, and he's everything that the UFC thought he would be.
Yeah, to me he did lose some of his aura though in this fight.
He may have lost. He lost some of his aura in being that.
The boogeyman type thing. You actually saw him bleed. You actually saw him, hurt a little bit, and I think it showed that, and not only that, but you saw like more of a human side to him too as well. Even in the, his post-fight interviews, like when he was saying, he wasn't as, he wasn't like the Chimaev from his last fight,
talking shit.
I'm gonna kill everybody, that hype train. He's a little bit more humble, and he was like being like, giving respect to Burns and giving respect. So it made him look a little more human, but not necessarily in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
It made him look human, but he's still that dangerous guy.
What I personally feel now, I think less people are gonna want to fight him now.
I think more people are gonna want to fight him now.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't think so. I personally feel like I feel like because he was so untested, like you had people that were you had people that wanted to fight him, like some, but like you had like I felt there was people that was like that would wanted to like use his platform because he was so hyped to fight him so they can build their names. I don't think so much now. Like, do you really want to get it? Like, I feel like now he's proven that he is as good as he say he is, and like to call him out, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing now.
You know what you're getting into.
You gotta know. Now you know exactly. It's not a simple task to want to fight him. So
yeah, his chin was definitely tested, and I think. I mean, Gilbert Burns is a pretty stocky guy, but I think the size difference did play into it. Because usually when the bigger fighters can take punches from the smaller fighters, and I think that and Chimaev just had a chin because he was getting cracked and
he was getting cracked,
taking all of it. So it's gonna take like someone in the middleweight division to probably to actually hurt him.
There you go, yeah, because he does fight the two divisions.
Yeah,
it was up to middleweight.
This was at 170, so this is welterweight division. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like you said, Burns was not diminished in this by any stretch of imagination. But, it just shows that Chimaev is really that guy. So
now Chimaev's going to be ranked number 2 in the division.
Mm-hmm. And they're thinking about setting up the Kobe fight, which...
It's not even thinking. I think Dana White is going full force with that now.
Yeah. But even that one, you're like... That's going to be an interesting fight. Because Kobe puts on pressure too.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to take that first back step? I mean, I think Kobe will, for sure. But... in some moments, Kobe can have his moments too.
The thing is, they both can wrestle.
There is that.
So
Kobe can wrestle. Yeah,
they both can wrestle. So I'm wondering. This is a fight. It really has my imagination because I'm like, they both can have a similar style at times. Because Kobe can put on that pressure and relentlessly wrestle you until he gets what he needs.
Yeah,
and Chimaev definitely can do that as well. And obviously, you see now Chimaev can throw hands too. So
yep. I think that's one of the reasons why this fight was the Burns fight was as competitive as it was because Burns was able to stop the takedown, which is very interesting because no one is able to do that to Chimaev since he usually gets what he wants. But Burns was able to stop the takedown, and I think that kept it competitive because usually Chimaev takes you down and he does what he wants to you.
He started taking down feeling, but he eventually got him down, and that's how he ended up.
So he got the elbows, yeah. But yeah, the Kobe fight would be an interesting one.
That's gonna be.
But I still wanted to see him fight Rakhmonov though.
I mean, we both do, but
apparently we're not the only ones. I've seen some videos online. Unfortunately, they weren't in English, but I've seen at least 2 videos that I guess were in Russian or some other language that I couldn't understand. But they were talking about Rachmanov fighting
Chimaev.
Mm-hmm. I want to see that fight because they're both very similar. I find.
I don't know who would win, honestly. I mean, obviously, Rachmanov still has his aura now. More of that, unbeatable aura. So.
But the thing about Rachmanov, he doesn't speak too much. Like he's not a
Mhm.
big talker, so
Mhm.
he's not gonna get the push like Chimaev had. But maybe he does. Maybe he does it the old-fashioned way and goes through the division very slowly but methodically, and then when
maybe they fight. Maybe they're fighting for a belt at that time.
exactly.
So it still could happen. If they're both as good as they both say they are, it's definitely gonna happen.
I want to see it so bad. And then you had Aljamain Sterling versus Piotr Jan. Quite the fight, huh?
Yeah.
It wasn't as simple. It wasn't like the first fight. The first fight was pretty one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
Jan did his thing, even though he landed the illegal knee. And Aljamain Sterling, we already went through the story.
Yeah, we've
We
documented.
don't gotta go back through it, but Aljamain actually won this one, and by decision. Now, it's apparently it's a controversial thing. Apparently, it's a controversial decision. Personally, I don't think so.
I didn't think so either.
But Dana White thinks so, and a couple people in the media seem to think that Peter Yan was robbed. And I think the only reason they're saying that is because they just don't like Aljamain Sterling.
100%. Aljamain,
And it's his own doing.
he's a tough person to get behind for me anyway. I'm sure other people agree as well. So I could see why people would say that, because once the fight's even remotely close, you want it to go the other way because you just don't like the other guy. It's a normal human,
Mm-hmm.
Same for well, no, that's a different situation. But anyway, yeah, I mean it's just human nature. You want to see if it's even remotely close, you want your guy to win. So I didn't feel like it was a robbery because obviously Aljamain, he fought way better this time. He was taking it was taking him down, and he was being very elusive, and his fight style is not fun, and it's not fun to go against, and it's not fun to watch either.
Yeah, I think he won the first three.
In two of the exercises he did.
He to me, he clearly won the first 3 rounds because he was, people saying he was running the whole fight or whatever. He was being elusive, yes. Now in significant strikes, I think Piotr landed more overall, according to the CompuStrike numbers. But it all depends on what rounds those were in. Because Piotr won the last 2 rounds for sure.
For sure.
But that was it. It's not the whole fight, sir. So Piotr Jan is pretty upset. And Dana White thinks that rightfully so, which I find very weird. But
I don't think Dana's a Aljo fan, but
we'll see what comes of it. Aljamain's talking about taking a break, which he just came off of surgery. She just had a long break, so it's like he's saying literally all of the things to make you not want to root for him.
Exactly. That's my issue with him. It's like he likes being champion more than he likes fighting, I feel.
So now he's champion, he's gonna just
enjoy it for as long as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever surgery he needs, he's gonna take him. You know what I mean? He's just gonna stretch it out.
You're saying you need to go on a vacation, something about him and his fiance. She's doing her exams or whatever, and when they're done, they've both been grinding, so they both go on a vacation afterwards, and blah 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 blah. So
yeah,
sure.
It was weird too when Dana was gonna put the belt on him. He fell to his knees. So Dana was like, okay, and he just handed him. He was kind of just giving him the belt, like, okay, you want to put it on?
Put it on your shoulder.
And he was like, no. And he stood up and he's like, no, he made Dana White put it on his waist. So I'm like, oh my god, whatever.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Because I guess the first time Dana White didn't really put it on his waist, or he put it on his waist. He did, but he took it off.
He took it off, yeah.
So I guess he wants his moment, of it being put on his waist. I get it. I mean, he's whatever, man.
Yeah. He even said he wants to go into he's saying all the wrong things. He wants to go into acting
and all this. It's like he's in it. I mean, you can't wrong him. There's nothing that he's doing that makes me hate him as a person or anything like that. Because he's doing what he has to do for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking out for himself more than anything else, which is what you should do. I don't blame him. He's used fighting to elevate his platform, and now he's elevated, and he's just capitalizing on everything that he can.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We may not like it, and he even said it too. Like, he says, I can sit there and strike with anybody and get hit, but he doesn't feel that's fighting very smart. Kind of taking that Floyd Mayweather approach. Not getting hit, and I get it, and it makes sense, and I can't wrong you. You can't wrong him at all. He's gonna fighting that way. He's gonna keep more of his facilities,
faculties about him. But not gonna win a ton of fans doing it.
Not gonna win a ton of fans. More people are gonna want him to lose than they're gonna want him to win, and he's gonna end up being a Floyd type character if he keeps winning.
If he's lucky, yeah. If he keeps winning, you're right.
If he keeps winning, then everyone's gonna tune in to watch him lose for sure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's whatever.
It's whatever. Good for him. He shut up all the haters like he said he was gonna do. And he was telling people, like, guaranteed, like, bet your money, like, he's going to win this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he said a lot of people in Long Island did. So, they made a lot of people rich. So he's happy about that. Yeah, there was one guy that bet $9,000.
Yep, $9,000 and to make 40 something thousand. So.
Yeah, $46,000 for a $9,000 bet.
And he's definitely...
He won it, so good for you.
Oof.
So, yeah.
Must be nice, huh?
He has some fans.
He has some fans. Yeah, that guy's definitely a fan now. That guy's...
That's set.
Anybody makes me that kind of money, I'm happy for sure.
Yep. And then, of course, in the main event, which was a little bit of a one-sided beatdown, you had Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, which it was not that competitive of a fight, unfortunately.
It wasn't.
Although it did go to the fourth. It didn't need to.
It didn't need to.
And it was stopped on the feet, which is kind of rare in MMA. You see it happen more in boxing, per se.
You don't like to see it, but
it was necessary.
It's definitely necessary, and it's definitely for a reason. That you want to protect these fighters from themselves. So,
unfortunately,
Volkanovski was just way too fast for a Korean.
Way too fast. Way too on another level for him.
Yeah, he was leagues above him, and he just. I always felt he was, but now you kind of see it play out. It was like, and you kind of realize, like, when it comes to fighting and the different levels, when someone is, there's rankings for a reason. People want to, jump the rank and all that stuff. It's a process, and sometimes you have to. It's better to go through the process than anything else.
Because then you learn, and then you're not.
You learn and you get better, and you know whether or not you belong there.
Yep.
Even Volkanovski was like, he started to feel bad for him in there because he.
Like, you want to keep doing this? Like, really, what are we doing now?
Yeah, because he knew he was hitting him with some shots that were just hurting him.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, and the unfortunate thing is, looks like Zombie may be thinking about retirement.
He should.
Oh.
I mean,
he's been around a long time.
He's been around a long time.
He's fought the who's who.
He's fought for the belt twice. He come up short twice. He has, he's been fighting for a long time, and personally, his fighting style is kind of outdated now.
Yeah, and he looked super slow against Volkanovski. Like, it wasn't even close to speed advantage, and the speed and strength advantage was
it was evident.
One side. So
it was like this is what the top of the division looks like, and you're not there, and it was pretty evident.
And I love Korean Zombie, but
I wanted him to win so badly.
It just was what it was. It's unfortunate, but
break speed off him.
Unfortunately, but yeah, I mean that pretty much covers that card. We do have a card this weekend, but like we said, no watch party at the lounge. But it's the right card to do it on because there's not much here. I mean, you do have Jakar Close fighting.
You do have. I mean, there's a lot of fights I want to see. Actually.
There's Chris Barnett is fighting again. It's gonna be cool. Jordan Levitt.
Yeah, Jordan Levitt is fighting. The guy to the bottom down there, that the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think he fought in the Contender Series.
Kevin Kroom?
No, the other guy. Kroom, we've seen Kroom fight before too, but the other guy, that Antela Geli.
Man has one name. That's interesting.
Asian fighters that just have one name usually means trouble, but we'll see.
And then you're looking at your main card. Who do we got in the main card?
Panic Kiadzad is fighting as well. William Knight is fighting. Devin Clark. I mean, the prelims are pretty. You got some good fights on there. Eliseo dos Santos. Who else we got?
A couple of contender series guys fighting on there.
Myra Buena Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Miguel Baeza.
Yep, Baeza is fighting as well.
That's gonna be a good fight. Oh, and that guy from the contender series, Kiao. I don't know how to pronounce it. Caio. He was a force on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. And he's fighting another contender series guy.
Yep.
So that should be interesting. But then, of course, the main event: Vicente Luque versus Bilal Muhammad.
In the welterweight division, it should be like a depending on if someone whoever gets out of this, with any style points, they could be in the mix. But I think you're gonna have to really put on a show because that division is so stacked. You're gonna have to show something.
Really stand out.
You're gonna have to show something.
The thing about Bilal is that he wins fights, but he doesn't really stand out, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Luque, on the other hand, Luque is good on the ground, and Luque is good standing up.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your poison. So
Luque is dangerous, and he's been looking sharp as of late. So I think he's definitely in the title mix. We'll see how he fares against Bilal Muhammad, but
Luque's got my
got your vote?
Yeah. Okay. For me.
We'll see. Hopefully, if not Saturday, I'll probably rewatch it Sunday or something. But yeah, that pretty much covers it here on the podcast. We do thank you guys for listening and sticking with us for this long. If you reach this end of the podcast, we do appreciate that. All that helps. We are still looking for your support, like we always say. Be sure to check out our support link on Patreon. That's patreon.com/VIVN. You can see our link there to the left. You can, choose your tier, what better suits your budget. We do appreciate all the support, whether it's $1 to $10, whatever it is. We appreciate all of it because it's definitely needed. We are making the best of what we got, but the more we have, the more we can do. So, do appreciate all your support. And continue to connect with us on all our social media platforms, on our Facebook, on our IG, YouTube, and our website, of course. So, you can be listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Continue to support, continue to check us out, and we'll continue to grow and bring you guys fresh new content. But the next time you hear from us, we'll be on episode 100, so definitely look forward to that. Feel free to drop a message. We do have a message link on our podcast link. Mm-hmm. If you click on the anchor link, there's a message area there. You can send message. You can send audio messages to us, like we did for episode 50. If you guys remember that, you can do some of that and share your thoughts, share your congratulations, and all that good stuff. And we can play that at some point. I don't know if we'll get it on the video podcast, but we'll definitely do something with it on the audio podcast, which is where those messages will be coming in. So for that, you guys continue to be good to each other. Stay safe out there. IsaacBoyz out.
Peace.